Gosh, I have Phil Collins songs stuck in my head. Because 80s music was so good, okay? 70s and 80s music, this modern drivel is not good. And some people are just so limited in their genre of music, they can't be expansive with it. I'm like, you're not interesting. Like, some people are like, oh, I only like this specific kind of music because they're a boring triple thin person, you know? Being like liking a diversity of good music. That's what makes you a music connoisseur, you know? Just like, because I actually feel like I'm not a musician, but I think I have pretty good taste in music. And I know a lot of music and all genres, and I'm not just like, oh my god, like, I just like this one, this little definitive thing. And it's so cliched. It's funny when people are very cliched in their music interests, but they act like they're so like open-minded about music. And I'm like, really, are ya? You don't even know different genres. That's where you begin to stick up for yourself because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. When you're a strong cookie, you are confident within yourself. The good people in your life, the good people, they love you, they know what a great person you are. The bad ones, they fall away. When you just are yourself, all the bad people will fall out of your life like clockwork. If something's bad, they're gone forever. And you, my friend, are like the best way to get rid of any debt in your life is to be yourself and not. I mean, maybe you won't ruminate what people think, but try not to care what they think. Because if they're party people, if they're people that think that they are socially graceful, they usually aren't. Like I once had somebody say, "Oh, I was awkward," and they were awkward as hell in so many different situations. And I started to realize they had like this script that they spoke. And I thought, oh, they're interesting, but they would say the same things all the time. And I just didn't pick up on it. And I'm like, do they have a script? I'm like, they have a little script that they created for themselves. It's like, so that's my tip for the day. You get rid of anybody that's bad in your life just by being your authentic self, and it will drive all the bad people out of your life forever. You'll never be bothered by a fake person, a liar, someone who doesn't live in the light of the world. People who don't live in transparency, they don't like truth seekers because truth seekers will bust their bubbles and all their secrets shall be revealed. If you're a liar and you don't tell the truth in life, you're gonna be outed eventually. I don't care. It's not my job to out the liars of the world. I just I don't like people who lie or people who don't treat you with precision and care. Those people are not good people. So don't fall for any silliness, any lies. Actions speak louder than words. And good people, they go up to bat for you every day, all the way. They don't act selfish in any way. They're not rude to you. Yeah. I mean, I just think you need to know there's a lot of people that are what you call an opportunist. And you can learn what an opportunist is just by their behavior. An opportunist will say what they think you want to hear. Sometimes they have the audacity to tell you that. And anytime someone tells you that, just be yourself, full throttle, and that will usually drive them away because opportunists, people that like to be deceptive, they don't like people that are truth seekers because truth seekers are onto them. They have their number. They know what they're all about, you see. A truth seeker will always seek out the truth. And a person who lies and lives a lie or lives a double lie, they're the ones that have to live it out for the rest of their lives. And you know what? I'm a truth seeker. I'll always speak the truth. But liars, they need a lying, that myth-based life. I just find it funny that people lie. But that your reward is just be a truth seeker, be yourself, say you believe in the truth, and you will get rid of all the bad situations or anybody that's rude to you because they don't like people that don't put up with their lies, that don't some people call it narcissism. I'm not even sure if it's always narcissism. I think more it's just like our society kind of rewards people who are charming to your face, but they're opportunists. Like there are a lot of people that are seeking their own opportunities. And you know another thing that I just think is a lot of people have a short fuse. They're not expansive in their mindset. They get upset about stupid little things and you're like, really? Grow up, children. Just grow up. That's okay. And the thing that really helped me realize how silly all this kind of junky behavior was when I started talking to a new person that doesn't have these issues. All of a sudden, this person is just transparent and they're mature and they don't have some sort of weird axe to grind or show to put on. And it changed. I was like, oh, I know that there's a lot of in the world, I know there's a lot of people that are legitimate and that are kind-hearted and expansive in their mindset, but sometimes you forget this, after you've had an experience with people that are just weird and duplicitous. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. So stick up for yourself at all times. If anybody says, I know you don't care what people think, but what people think matters, go back at it hard. Go hardcore back and say, no, what I think matters, okay? What I think matters, and you're being a jerk on a stick. You have to hold these people accountable. Stick up for yourself. Stick up for any kind of bullying. Do not allow it. Because when I was a kid, I think I put up with people that wanted to be little bullies. There's always little tyrants. You're always going to find a little tyrant, and they're in different, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm done with that because just the more I was a truth seeker and the more that I always said I want to live in the light of the truth in the world, people who were duplicitous or didn't have good intentions, they fall away because you can't play into their agenda, or you don't, I don't know, go along with whatever it is that they think is best, or like one day they're nice to you and then the next day they're like, oh, they can't be your friend anymore. That was never a real friend. People like that, they need to give you the biggest apology of their entire life, but they won't because they're always right, you know? And you can't argue with somebody who thinks they're always right. So at the end of the day, you just thank the universe that such people fall away, because you're like, they don't even think that they do anything wrong. They think everything they do is perfect. There are people like that. And it probably does start to meander into narcissistic territory. A narcissist is a person that they don't worry about their actions. Like everything they say and do is fine. Like they never worry. Like things that they say don't ever touch them or haunt them. They're never afraid that they hurt people's feelings. They'll pretend that they listen to people. They will pretend that they're empathetic people, but they don't have empathy. Like they just don't possess it. There are people in this world, they don't know empathy. Like they literally, like everything they do, everything they say, it may be they have a script to make you think that they're empathetic people, but they're not really, you see, because they don't really care what anybody thinks. They only care about what they want in the moment. And then, yeah, but I don't know why I talk about these things. I think I talk about these things because I think people like me, like us quieter types who are not more outgoing, like we don't really confront like situations like that head on. But we have to learn, like, not to put up with that kind of stuff. You know, just to be like, whatever, you're not a kind-hearted person, like, but by being a truth seeker, it's repellent for these people. Like narcissists hate truth seekers. They do. A narcissist will never want anything to do with a truth seeker because they're onto them. They have their number. Like we have their number. We know that, and you know, I'm not saying everybody in the world is a narcissist, but narcissistic behavior is kind of enabled in our society because, like, we'll look at social media and look at just social culture in general, like saying kind of sarcastic, cruel things is sometimes applauded. Like, and I'm not even talking about the woke, like, it's not even a woke thing, like, oh my god, like everything needs to be politically correct. I don't really care what people's political opinions are. I'm just talking about how being kind is kind of not a cultural currency, really, because, like, I guess, you know, it's just interesting, but you always learn very quickly, like, and you have to not doubt yourself anymore because sometimes you're like, oh my god, did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? But here's the thing, the narcissist people, they don't ever second guess themselves. Everything they do is perfection on earth to them. They think that they're perfect. They think they don't, or even if they don't think they're perfect, they just don't care. Like they literally, I don't want to like generalize, but here's an example of a narcissist. Like let's say, like friends had a disagreement. Like regular people, they might mull over something that was said, and they might later say, you know, I thought about that and I feel bad about that. Well, a narcissist won't, okay? A narcissist will just be like, oh, like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Or they'll kind of be charismatic about it. Or they'll play it off. Or they'll pretend like they don't even remember that something happened. Like, one of the MOs of a narcissist, they'll be like, did that happen? Like, they'll play amnesia, kind of. Like, they just play coy. But at the end of the day, like, who cares? The best repellent for narcissists is to be a truth seeker. Like, when you're someone who is just truthful and you don't put up, like, you know, you don't have to be hardcore, like, smashing rude comments, but, you know, narcissists can, like, at first be charismatic towards you. They can be, like, very, ingratiating, say nice things to you, but then they start their little manipulation game where they try to like make you second guess yourself, and they say little things like, but if you don't buy into their thing, then you'll be like, because here's the thing, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you. It really doesn't, because the people who count will always care. The people who count will always care. Yes, I'm wearing a skirt today. So the people who count will always care about you. They will never ever like make you second guess yourself. They will never like 1 second be or 1 week be ingratiating and then the next week kind of become manipulative. And another thing that narcissists do is they easily discard people. Like people are like toys to them. Like when they're done with a person, they just are like, oh my god, like, and they will just kind of dismiss you. And you know what? It's actually the best thing that you can have if you just accept the dismissal and walk away, because you're never gonna win with a narcissist. A narcissist is somebody, like, I finally like have learned this about a lot of people. Like I'd always be like, well, don't these people ever think about what other people think? They might think about it. They might, okay. I did a live stream about this. They might be socially, like, they're not like autistic where they don't understand like other people's thoughts and feelings. Like they're pretty socially savvy. They're good at the manipulation game. They can make it seem like, oh, like they said something wrong. Like when it's to their benefit or advantage, like they can play that game. But in general, they just don't care what anybody else thinks. Like they really don't. They don't care about anything that doesn't benefit themselves in some way. That's just a narcissist MO. They're all about themselves, and that's fine, because the one repellent for narcissism is to be a truth seeker. The truth shall set you free. A narcissist will never live in the light of the truth. But just by being myself and being happy and being triumphant, and if I had learned in the past, like I wish, like what I learned or what I finally figured out was I always liked the idea of something more than the actual thing. And I think I would get taken in by just, some charming things that a narcissist did. But then, once you finally realize, oh, well, when they're able to discard people, like just completely, you see who they really are. Like anybody that can discard you completely is a bad person. They're a bad apple. Like if they can just be like, your thoughts don't matter and only theirs matter, they're not a good cookie. And you just need some we shouldn't eat too many cookies. You should just limit your interaction with narcissists and being a truth seeker and being kind-hearted. And, it's okay, because I think us more empathetic types, for some reason, I don't know what it is, we're like a narcissist magnet. Like, people like that, they just see us as people that they can play these little games with, and they want to manipulate us and make us feel bad. Anybody in this world that makes you feel bad emotionally in any way, they're messed up in the head, and you don't need that shit in your life. Like, there's actually somebody you should listen to is Dr. Romani, and she'll help you spot what a narcissist is. And I just feel like, how should I put it this way? I didn't realize, like, there were things about my own dad that I feel like he was kind of a narcissist. Like, just looking back, like, he didn't really care. Like, he was a good provider, but I would remember things he would say. Like, he just was very much all about himself, and, like, he didn't really worry about what other people thought, okay? And he loved to play, like, this gaslighting game where he would pretend, like, not to remember something, or, like, pretend like you, like, try to make you second guess yourself. Because growing up, like, he always was a good provider, but he wasn't, like, very emotionally healthy in a way. I realized, like, things about him. Like, he wasn't totally mean, but I realized there were, like, narcissistic things about his personality because he just really didn't care what other people thought. He would pretend he was so empathetic, like he with other people outside of the house, but with his own family, he was kind of like there were things he would say that just were just like it was all about him and what he wanted at that time. In fact, he would always say, "Oh, because I'm the man of the house, I should have this." Like, and that's fine. Like for some people, maybe if they want to live that kind of lifestyle, but we weren't really down for that. We weren't those kind of people, and we just didn't always go along with things he would say, and he didn't like that. And he'd be like, and I'm not even like a feminist or anything, but he would just get all mad and offended that we didn't buy into it. But I just never understood some of his behavior, okay? And I never thought his behavior was charming in general, because in general he was just a complainer, like around us, but around other people, they thought he was very charming. And he's not a bad person, like he's very interesting, but there were just narcissistic things about him and his personality that I didn't really understand until I started watching some of Dr. Romney's videos. And then I started realizing I'm like a narcissist magnet, because in my own life, I've been drawn to people like in the beginning where they will say like nice things to me or things that they think I want to hear. But then some of it was weird, because in one situation, this person was admitting to me that they just said things that they thought I wanted to hear. Like it was pretty straight up just stupid, really stupid, like in my opinion. And I don't know why I idolized this particular person for such a long time, but then they came back and said, oh, they thought about me. And it turned out it was all a lie. They never thought about me. Like it was this big little lie to, I don't know, get what they wanted to get their narcissistic supply, okay? They just needed some validation at that particular moment in time. So then I thought the person might be telling the truth, and I kind of took them up on it, because they said that they thought they wanted to be with me. Like they told me that, okay? So I kind of took them up on that. And they would say sometimes that they thought about what it'd be like to be with me. But then when I would kind of dig and want to go deeper, they'd be like, oh, I didn't really mean that. No, we can't ever be together. But they were the one that said that to me. They said, oh, like, now that there's a pandemic, I kind of think about what it'd be like to be with you. And I'm like, whatever. Oh my God. You're such a liar. You just said whatever at the moment because like you wanted your little narcissistic supply. And yeah, the narcissistic supply people always will tell you what they think you want to hear at the moment. So I struggled for a long time not wanting to deal with things that hurt my feelings and it would make me nervous, but I realized the best thing in my life is to just be free of all narcissists. Because narcissists just they prey on you. Like, and I don't usually fall for this stuff with other people, but for some reason, just like if I thought I had a connection with someone, but then I realized no, they just what they wanted was validation at the moment, and they probably do this with a lot of other people. Like, and I'm not saying I've met a lot of narcissists, but I think a couple of people I've met in my life have these narcissistic tendencies, and I don't know if it's just something I've been drawn to because I kind of had that dynamic growing up. So I kind of have broken that recently, and I realized just by being a truth seeker, it is good repellent for these people. They don't like people who tell the truth or think you should tell the truth or think you should live in the light of the truth. Narcissists hate that kind of shit. They like people who are deceptive. They want to live their little double life, and good. Let them have their double life because you're not part of that crowd. Like it's just whatever. But like, I don't know, something that bothered me for a long time and it never really should have. Because other people are really good. They're just like, hey, if somebody doesn't treat you good from day one, even if they don't call you names, if they're not like buying you flowers and like matching their words, like saying, oh, that they want to try to be with you now, but they didn't really want to, like the next week, they're like, oh, well, I didn't really want that. I just thought I wanted that. Like, don't talk to them like in the beginning, because if somebody waffles, like in the very first days of knowing them, they're not a good person. But I just realized the thing that kind of tripped me up is the person said that they thought about being with me and their mind had changed about that. And I never made that person say that to me. So when they said that to me, I guess I believed it, but it was just a lie because, narcissists need to say something. They need to tell you what you want to hear. That's what they're good at. They're primo at telling you what you want to hear. But the really just kind of lazy narcissists will be kind of upfront about it. And yeah, I'm so glad that by being a truth seeker and being myself, I kind of turn those people off. And I'm glad because I don't want a narcissist to like me in any way, and they don't really anyway. Like a narcissist never likes you. They just like the interaction that they get with you at the moment, like whatever it is that they wanted from you in the moment. And then once they get it, they don't really want anything to do with you. Like you're like a toy to them, and like a game but the funny thing is I just don't usually put up with that behavior for most people. And I think I would be drawn to somebody, and I can't really say why. And I think at the end of the day, it was just more like being attracted to that person and falling for the flattering things they said. But that wasn't really them. It was just an act, But over time, they don't like honest people, so honest people repel them. And an honest person will say, hey, maybe you should live in the light of the truth. And they don't like that. Narcissists don't like being told that they shouldn't tell the truth. And yeah, so I kind of learned so much. I didn't know what a narcissist was a few years ago. And I kind of realized, I didn't realize that my dad was a narcissist. And I know this sounds like deep psychology stuff, but I think we're sometimes attracted to certain scenarios that we're trying to have some sort of unfinished business if we had a certain family dynamic. And I realized just when it came to guys I was attracted to in the past or people I talked to, it would be they'd have certain characteristics, like some sort of dysfunctional situation that I had growing up, and these weren't good people. But at the end of the day, I don't even care anymore because if somebody tells you something, it's not like it's your fault. Like you didn't ask them, like you didn't tell them, oh my gosh, you should say that you thought about being with me. Like I never made anybody say that to me. So if I believe that they said it, maybe it's because they told me that, So I know that narcissists love to live in their little fantasy world or think that people are going to fall for their fantasies. Future faking, that is something Dr. Romney talks about. They love to future fake when they want something at a specific time and place, okay? Like future faking is a great way to have your narcissistic supply when you want it. And yeah, so if you ever had an experience with a narcissist, you should definitely check out Dr. Romney's videos. It's very thought-provoking. Anyway, thanks for watching.